Hello and welcome to Cultural Distress, the podcast where we talk about and celebrate cultural differences. We are back after a quick break for our live show. I'm one of your co-hosts, Loic Pichot. Originally from France. I'm gay, I'm a comedian, I'm a millennial. So living in LA and operating in that scene, I'm culturally distressed most of my life. And I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and friend, Miyoko Sakatani.
Hi, I'm Miyoko Sakatani, and I'm a second generation Japanese American, or Nisei, and I'm a straight baby boomer. So, yeah, growing up in Asian in America has been culturally distressing pretty much all my life. But welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. And, we're here to talk about anything related to culture and life and in between. And
All those things.
thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. And before we dive in, how are you? How are you doing? So last time I saw you was in person 2 weeks ago. How have you been?
Oh, I've been good. Well, first of all, should we recap the comedy show or?
I think I was gonna get to it, but I wanted to
Okay.
check how you were doing
Yeah, but
before.
since then, yeah, right away, as soon as that was over, I was right into my next project. So
Oh
I,
my God, I wanted to ask you. Okay, so you didn't take a break. You're already working
now
on the
I
next.
started right away with it's going to be a stage reading. Actually, it's coming up this Sunday, so
Nice.
just a couple of days from now. And so, yeah, one thing into the other. But, we've been having fun.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah. How about you?
Nice. I've been great. Yeah, it's been good to. It was amazing to be in SF, but happy to be back home in LA. It's been great. I felt pretty good today because I had a medical appointment this morning. Not say I did like a physical. So they did like a full like blood panel and everything. And everything looks good. And so the doctor told me that two things happened. First, he told me that I was a model patient,
Oh,
so that made me feel so good. And the other thing that happened, which actually I've never seen that in my result before, but I'm not sure if it was tested, but basically my testosterone is actually higher than the range. And the doctor was like, look, you have the testosterone of like an 18-year-old. Like not sure, what happened. And I'm like, but is this like, can there be like side effects or anything? And he's like, no. And he's like, a lot of men your age will pay a lot of money to get your level. So that made me feel good about myself.
so funny.
All right, no, but there's this whole thing. And you know why it made me feel good, Miyoko?
Why?
Because I think today there's this whole like culture of like, like the manosphere, like those guys who are very like alpha and misogynistic, homophobic, everything. And so I think it's one signal in their health that they really like obsess about is their testosterone level. So just the idea that me as a gay, proud man, 40-year-old, I probably have a higher testosterone than all of those chads, that makes me feel good about myself.
All that matters is that you feel good about yourself. So, are you doing any? Do you think you're exercising? What do you think is bringing it
Is
up to
driving
such
this?
a high
Yeah,
level?
I must say, like, I live a pretty healthy life. I still treat myself, right? Time to time, I do enjoy my chocolate bar is my one vice. But I think I've been training pretty intensely since the beginning of the year. I tried to switch with my workout, but I think lately I've been more in the mindset of training less times per week, but harder.
And
Yeah.
does that increase testosterone levels? Do you
I
know?
think there's been studies that link like more like heavy workout with testosterone. I believe. Yeah, I haven't
Hey,
got too much time to look
what
into
can I
it.
say but congratulations that you're such a stud.
Thank you, Miyoko. And coming from
And
a
Patrick,
nurse,
and
it means
Patrick,
a world.
no wonder Patrick has a smile on his face all the time. You're like a bull in a china shop.
So yeah, anyway, so
Anyway,
yeah, I feel
enjoy it while you can.
thank you. I will, but yeah, I'm feeling hot today with that diagnostic. Um,
When I want
but
to say, ask when the doctor says you were a model patient, what exactly does that mean?
I think he wanted to say that yeah, everything that healthy, everything looks good.
Oh, I
That I
see.
don't need to worry about anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Like I think it was more like a easy patient, I think is what he meant.
Because everything was normal.
Yeah, so I make his life easier, I guess. Not that there's obviously nothing wrong with, having issues. I mean, and I think it felt really good to me because like I've always had like chronic condition my whole life, asthma as a kid, and I have a other, condition at my esophagus that I live with. Nothing bad, but always something, slightly annoying my whole life.
Yeah.
So it just feels good for once to have a health report that's just like
Very.
very positive. Yeah.
Yay! I'm very happy.
Thank you. So yeah, that being said, now that I share to the world my high testosterone-ness, uh, we did a show in San Francisco 2 weeks ago, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Did you get what kind of feedback did you? What kind of feedback did you get?
People really loved it. I think so for our listeners who are not in SF, what we did with Miyoko was, so we did like a comedy show. We started with kind of like a conversation like we have on the podcast first. So that was roughly like first half of the show. And then the second half was Miyoko doing stand-up, then me doing stand-up, and then Yoko brought one of my favorite characters, Yoko Ono, and we did an interview of Yoko Ono. So that was super fun. So yeah, no, everyone loved it. I've had great feedback. I think people really like the variety of different things we've done. And I don't know, I think at the end of the day, I think we enjoy spending time with each other and creating together. And I think people can feel that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the feedbacks I got. I got an email from a friend who watched it on streaming, and she says, "Boy, you two really have a good harmony, good chemistry."
Yeah, chemistry is a good word for us. So yeah, but it was, I feel like, I mean, I think what I like about comedy is like the feedback is kind of like instantaneous with the laugh you get.
Your audience response.
Yeah, and I feel like the first night was a bit more stressful, I think, because it was the first time we were trying this format. We was working out the kinks,
Hmm.
so it still went really well. But I feel like for me, being in the show, I was a bit more stressed, but I feel like by night 2 and 3, I was just able to fully enjoy it. Because once the first one is done, okay, it's working.
Right,
Now
right.
we can really enjoy.
Yeah, I think the third show was my favorite.
Yeah, I think third, I think maybe, yeah, second and third. Yeah, both of them I feel like went really, really well and just were such a blast to play. I think for me, there's this thing too of, like, because I feel like, I wear so many hats and, my job, my comedy career and everything, that it was also nice to just, because in SF, I took a couple of days off and I
Mm.
was just living that comedian life full time, which also felt really good to treat myself to that life. So I would, go in coffee shops and just sit down and write. And then at night we would perform together. It was just so much fun to like be in that creative energy for a few days. Yeah, it was so special. I had a blast. I'm so glad we did this.
So, do you feel like that's something you want to do? Is do it full time?
I mean, definitely, like, oh my, I hope no one from my company can hear me.
But it'll get
I
around,
do
so you
love my
better be
job.
careful what you say.
No, no, I do. I'm very fortunate. I do really enjoy my corporate job. And I truly love the people I work with. It's really amazing. But I'm also not gonna sit here and lie to you that if one day the opportunity come to be able to do comedy full time, oh yeah, that would be a dream for sure. But I I also, I'm very realistic about, like I want to become a dad, and that costs money. So that will, the comedy path for me is only if this can be like a viable like path financially,
Yeah,
which it can be, if
it
if
really
the stars align.
it can be, but only if you make it big. I mean, are there comedians that
Yeah.
make a living just doing clubs?
It's tough. And I actually read an article about this, about how there used to be like a comedian middle class. Because back in the day, people would go, to like comedy clubs, even though they didn't really know who they were going to see. It was just something that people would do, going to a comedy club and then you get comedians. So there used to be like middle class comedians making money off of comedy. Versus now, people tend to go see people they know, right? So it kind of like
Right.
break that kind of like middle class thing. So it's definitely, harder, but I also think there's so many ways you can, like do, there's so many ways you can express your comedy. And I'm seeing so many different people being, successful at it, but in very different ways. So,
Like what?
at the end of, what else, sorry?
Like how? You mean
I mean, because there's like, you think of like stand up,
like in
but
films?
yeah, television can be like a path. Some people became more like comedian like influencer through social media, which can
Yeah,
also be a path.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at the end of the day, I love my life. I'm very happy. If the stars align for me, and like if this allows me to do something bigger with my comedy, oh hell yes, I will do it, and I'll have a blast doing it.
Yeah.
Um, just trust the universe, and we'll see what unfolds.
Well, since we're on this topic, why don't we talk about
Yeah,
where did
totally.
where did passion come from for you? It's like it's really a passion for you. So where do you
Yeah,
think it came from, and
it truly.
and do you think your family had anything to do with it?
That's a great question. I think like I remember growing up in France. I would watch sketches from like French groups that I really like. I feel like now stand up is big in France. I feel like when I grew up, comedy was mostly like yeah, television sketches. Um, and so I really remember like watching some sketches from like French group like Les Inconnus, Les Nuls, who are just like so hilarious. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this must be like the coolest job in the world to just do that and make people do that with your friends and make people laugh. So I feel like I've always been drawn to it from maybe like teenage years. And I've dabbled in it. I actually remember, so I was part of France is mainly like, I mean, Catholic is like Catholic Church is the biggest religion in France. So even though I went to public school, one morning per week I would go to have Catholic classes. And then when I was a teenager, that became a weekly kind of like Catholic social club, I guess. But to be honest, because nothing was happening in the countryside, I was going there to see my friends, basically. And I remember one day, I think I was 16, one year, we decided to organize a comedy show for charity. So were able to go to space. I think the small city gave us the space for free. And we actually got like, I forgot, but it seemed like we had a good crowd. Because, not much happened in the countryside. So I felt people were generally excited about it. Um, we did something completely illegal, which is like we took sketches from famous people, which
Oh, of course.
we didn't pay any copyrights or anything.
No.
But it was for charity, so I think it's fine. And yeah, and I remember just like having such a total blast. And it's actually the only time that I was able to perform any sort of like comedy in the countryside. And then I had to wait till I moved to Paris when I was 20, and I joined the student theater group of my college, and we were actually doing a lot of like short skits, sketches, and funny plays. So I feel like that's when I was able to dabble. But if I'm being real honest, I feel like then I left comedy on the side a little bit, and I felt like I went to acting school. I feel like I tried something a bit more like serious, which I think that training is serving me well today. But I think to be honest, it's gonna sound so stupid, but there was something where like I feel like because, and we talked about this on the pod, because an artistic career wasn't really like, it was a bit like frowned upon in my family. I feel like comedy was the worst of the worst I could do to my family in a way, because it's not as honorable as doing something more serious, I guess. In my mind, that's kind of like what
Yeah,
happened.
right.
So I feel like I'm gonna go for something a little bit more respectful, and trying to, get more into the dramatic kind of things. I know you're the little one, and I know you kind of like were like the troublemaker of your family. Were you making your siblings and your parents laugh?
No.
Okay, so you were just
No, I
a
don't think
rebel.
they didn't think I was very funny. But yeah, I started thinking about it, and even though our family was Buddhist and very reserved, and my mother had a really funny sense of humor. I didn't appreciate it until later, because I didn't get along with her very well. But when I think of it now, she said a lot of funny things, and it rubbed off on me and my brothers and my oldest sisters, not so much. But the rest of us, we all had a knack for saying funny things, and we would.
Mm,
Our holiday parties, our gatherings, there was a tremendous amount of laughter,
yeah.
and it's because we were saying funny things. And did I share this with you? I was voted class clown.
Oh my God. No way.
I was voted class clown in my senior year in high school.
Oh wow, that
And
makes so
and
much
I
sense.
and I was shocked because I didn't I don't know, I didn't perceive myself as being that funny, but I guess my classmates thought I was very funny. So yeah, so I think comedy was is just a part of it, just
Yeah, part of who you are.
part of who I am, yeah. And
So,
but I think I thank my mother. I think my mother was very funny in her own way,
mm,
and I think that's how we got some of that.
I
Um,
love that. Let me ask you this. So, did you like, were you back then? Did you have like any interest of becoming a comedian someday?
oh, absolutely not. No, I remember I told a lot of jokes.
Yeah,
I had funny comments, but I also, whenever I heard a joke, I always told people jokes.
yeah,
I was good at delivery because they always laughed at my joke. And when you tell a joke, it's all in how you deliver it. And
yes, yeah.
so I did realize that I was a good joke teller. And but anyway, no, the thought of oh, I think I'll no, no, no. Yeah, I was like you have to be serious about what you're going to be when you grow up. Remember, I
Yeah,
actually had that in my routine. Is that being a performer is like the last thing that you are encouraged to do in an Asian family.
yeah,
It's all about academics and um,
yeah.
so
What's the same for me? Miyako, I think there's a, a hummingbird behind you.
yes. Do you see he's eating from the
Oh my
feeder.
God, it's eating from the feeder. Oh my God, I
You
love
you need to have
hummingbirds.
a hummingbird feeder outside.
I see them sometimes. The neighbors have a few plants that hummingbirds really love,
They
and yeah.
If you get a feeder, you get to watch them.
I love that. But I want to let them come from nature because to me, like hummingbird are also like a symbol of things. So I feel like when I see them, I'm like, oh, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
uh, it's a
if
good omen.
you have plants around where they come, then that's fine too.
Nice. I love that. Oh, sorry, that distracted me.
Okay.
The
Anyway,
hummingbird
so
distracts me.
yeah, so yeah, it's interesting how one becomes funny. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
you got to have it inside. I think I don't. They always said you can't really learn how to be funny.
Mm,
A comedy is very difficult. Uh,
yeah. It
there
is difficult.
has to be something inside of you that makes you a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's also something about like being in an environment that feels safe enough to be funny. And I feel like funny can sometimes feel risky in a way. So I don't know, just like having like emotional safety to actually like be in a place when you feel like you can be funny. So I'm thinking especially like when you're a kid, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point because I know I intentionally held myself back when I would be with certain family
Yeah.
or with my parents, you know. You think funny things, but you hold back.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was also thinking, you know, that theater faces where the one is smiling and one is frowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think, and I've heard this so many times. All of these great comedians have some kind of tragedy in their life,
Mm,
or they were raised as a child in a very tragic childhood, and they became a comedian to escape that.
yeah.
So, yeah, so there's definitely drama. There's been drama in my family upbringing,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so you know, there's that component of surviving through suffering with comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I think comedy is, like laughter is the best medicine, right? I think a lot of people use comedy as a way to heal and to be able to move forward, right? I mean, honestly, I see it on my project. I really think my sketch series is about yeah, probably about my divorce. I think, like and it's not, based on true events. It's kind of like, but I think the seed kind of like came
Yeah, yeah,
from that.
yeah,
Um, and I think a lot of my stand up now. So, now which I think, I don't know, I feel like when you actually, when you heal and you process things and you can get to a place that you can actually laugh about it, I feel like it's the best feeling. Like I'm talking on stage, I'm making jokes about things that was making me cry when I was a teenager, right? Not being able to fit in and not being,
right.
like the farming type, but now that I fully embrace who I am, I feel like it kind of like feels very liberating and empowering, I would say, to bring laughter into that. So yeah, so I see your point about the weird kind of like bridge between like dark emotions and being funny. It's really interesting.
And being able to see, being able to see uh, some serious events, being able to see it in a funny way.
Yeah.
You know, how's your relationship? Because Richard and I, we could talk about some serious matters, but then we would start cracking up and start laughing because we'll throw in some kind of funny word or some funny aspects to this very serious thing that's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah. Which I think it's a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of people do that. I can definitely relate to that with Patrick. I mean, we laugh a lot. I can't be in a relationship with with no laughters. It's just like wouldn't work. So laughter is a big
Can't imagine
part
that.
of who we are. I feel like we do a lot of bits, like a lot of like improv in a way where like someone will say one of us will start saying something completely stupid and who doesn't make any sense and the other one will be like yes and I'm gonna add more to that and then we just like build this. We are a very normal
Did
couple.
you ever have a
uh,
situation though when you were you thought something funny about it, and you made funny comments, and you started laughing, but that other person wasn't quite ready to laugh about it. In other words,
Oh,
you were saying so,
I
so they sort of get offended, or
mm,
because
it
you're
hasn't. It hasn't. I can't recall like but I see what you mean. It's like making jokes sometimes is too soon,
yeah,
right? After the facts. I get it. I feel like I can't recall a time where that did happen to me, and because I'm trying to maybe err on the side of caution.
yeah,
Not to say that I've definitely made jokes that I wouldn't do again today, because you learn, you make stuff. You're like, oh, actually, I shouldn't say that.
right, right.
Like it's not my story, or it's not. Um, but yeah, but do you have an example with like is it something like that happened with you and Rich?
Oh, when one thinks it's funny and the other's not.
Yeah.
Maybe for temporary, but then the serious one jumps on board very pretty quickly.
Yeah. I feel like laughter is also a good way when like I'm trying to
Or when you're having
um
an argument,
yeah, like it's just like sometimes, like living with someone, and even if things are great, there's always some like little habits when you're like, oh,
of course.
and we just try to make fun of it. So I
God,
something I would love to do is like I love to make, yeah.
we should have Richard on the program. He'll tell you how many times.
I do the same. I feel like with Patrick, I love to make like I guess maybe like I don't know if it's impressions of him, but like if I see a behavior, I will like also do it, but like 10x just to make fun of him on certain things.
Yeah, but is there ever a time when he might get defensive, like he's not in a good mood? You-
No, honestly, I feel like both of us were usually like pretty. I can't remember like being offended and going in a fight about a joke. Yeah.
That's good.
Well, are you pushing Rich too hard? Are you making too
Oh,
many jokes about him?
I push him as hard as I can.
Oh my God, you're a terror.
Yeah, you should talk to him. He'll tell you.
Maybe I
Yeah,
should have a one-one interview with
sometimes
Rich.
sometimes I don't know when to let up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm doing all the laughter. I'm saying, gee, he doesn't seem to be laughing as much.
But,
Oh,
we have a saying in French which is qui aime bien châtie bien. So it translates into if you like someone, you make fun of them.
oh,
Like, I feel like there's a lot of, I mean, like if you, I feel, and I think it's true. Like, I think the best jokes about someone or something comes from a place of love. And I think in that case, usually like people get it most of the time and won't get offended most of the time unless you push too hard. But my point is that yeah, you really like you take you make the effort to make jokes about someone. To me, it's actually a love language in a way.
yeah, yeah. I think you hit it right on the nail. Love. To me, the best comedians are always coming from love, even though they're saying things that are insulting
Yeah,
to be funny.
yeah,
But they're coming from a place of love. They're not coming from a place of meanness or hate.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they would last very long if they did that.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, with our partners, yes. It- we call it sparring.
Sparring. Okay.
We spar with each other. Like boxers do.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we spar. And we have fun. I mean,
Yeah,
I probably have more fun than he does because he's usually the object of
I
my
feel like
spar.
maybe Rich and Patrick should have a conversation.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Something we should have them on the show, and we'll step aside.
Just let them vent
Yeah,
about us.
let them talk about us.
But I think because my first like exposure to comedy was like sketches, I also feel like that's why even though I really do love stand up and everything, I feel like there's always part of me that want to bring that into the mix. Like so I'm thinking like one of my future goal is to have my, my hour. I really want to keep writing and build more. But when I envision it, I always think about like a fake commercial break in the middle with like video sketches. I feel like I always want to bring video sketches in everything I do.
Yeah.
And I really think it's because of what how I discovered comedy when I was a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, let's look, I think when we first got together about doing this podcast, I thought it would be funny to do a fake commercial in the show, in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I remember that we talked about
Yeah.
this. Yeah, we talked about having like fake
Yeah,
sponsor.
let's make a fake commercial.
I feel like we should have the most like
Ladies and gentlemen, you should try this lipstick.
like
I mean, it is the best. Lipstick. You can put it on your lips, you can put it on your cheeks.
there we go. No, I think it could be funny to have like the weirdest like sponsor that people would never imagine, like a sex toy company or something sponsoring this podcast.
Let's do it. We'll talk about it. Like,
If anyone working at this company, one of those companies is listening to it, Miyoko and I are very interested. Since we're on that topic, any other sponsor you wish we had on the pod, Miyoko?
a real sponsor?
Yeah, sky's the limit. Who do you want to sponsor this time?
I don't know. I haven't given that much thought. But they do some podcasts actually do have like product placement.
Yeah, no, they do. They
Yeah,
do, I know.
and then the company contacts them and starts supporting them because they're showing
Yeah,
their product.
the product,
So we
yeah.
need to find some product and
Yeah,
have
I
it on
have
the
to.
podcast.
I'm
Or we
looking around
can
me. I
show it
don't
on
have
the podcast.
anything. Yeah. Oh well.
How about the hummingbird feeder?
Oh yeah, hummingbird feeder. So that you can get hummingbird. Yeah, we need to think of a catchphrase for that. Um,
So how
yeah.
are we doing?
Are we switching to the last segment of our pod?
Okay.
I think so. I think it's time. All right. So this is the last segment of our podcast. We talked about either culturally distressed or culturally positive moments. So either a moment where we felt distressed and confused around the culture surrounding us, or a moment where we felt our culture celebrated. So that could be positive. Yoko, what are you sharing with us this week?
Today I'm going to share as soon as our comedy show was over, was that a couple of weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I started right away on this next project, which is a stage reading. And so my culturally positive moment is that this company that I'm doing a stage reading with is called the Three Girls Theater. And what they do, they've been around for a long time. And what they do is they promote the works of multiracial, multicultural, trans, cis, um, to playwrights over 40, and they
Wow.
and they support their work by doing readings and stage presentations. So I'm very and the first time I met them was like probably 10 years ago when they put on this program called Rep, Repro Rights. Repro
Okay.
Rights. And it was all short stories on women's rights for reproduction, and there's and very powerful stories on abortions and having to go to Tijuana or back alleys to get an abortion because they were illegal.
Wow.
And anyway, so that's how I met this group of women. And so now I'm still connected with them and doing a very powerful reading on Sunday. So my culturally positive moments are for women, supporting women.
I absolutely love this. It's such a great, yeah, great thing to hear, and I'm so glad you're participating in this project. That sounds awesome.
Yes. And what is your story today?
So mine is so I was at an event earlier this week with Start Out, which is an organization supporting LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs. So it's always a great event to go to. You meet like super interesting people. I mean, I think I'm so fascinating by like entrepreneurs, right? It's like creators, right? I feel like instead of creating art, they have like an idea and a vision and they execute. Anyway, I'm babbling.
Well,
But I met
what's the name of it? What's the
Start Out. Start
start
Out.
start out?
Yes, Start Out. Yeah.
Start out.
So yeah, highly recommend anyone interested in that field in LA. It's good, and like there was like people like pitching there. So there was kind of like a pitch presentation, which was super interesting. But what I wanted to share that I met this guy named Jonah at this event, and he's the person behind this project called a Curious Soul. So curious, queer and curious. So Curious Soul that you can find on Instagram. And we had a very lovely conversation. And basically, this whole project is to talk about queer people and their approach to spirituality. So basically, he's really like fascinated and trying to build this kind of like social archive. So you can find him on Instagram, where queer people talk about their approach to spirituality, and usually like the question are like around like which religion did you grow up in, how does this impact your queer experience, and also like do you still consider yourself religious? How has this evolved over time? And it was really interesting. So we really hit it off. So we actually did, a little, like we did the interview thing, and it was such an interesting and fascinating topic because, I think it's really interesting. I think like a lot of people outside of the queer community actually assume that queer people are not spiritual, and actually I think it's kind of ironic because it's actually like so far from the truth. It's just that we have to challenge our spirituality in different ways because like usually for most of us, and each experience is very different, but I know for me growing up Catholic, and realizing I was gay, I had to deconstruct a lot of my belief and going back to actually like the core of the values of what is important to me, which is, love your neighbor and love and compassion. I love those things. And now I don't identify as Catholic, but I do, I'm very spiritual. I identify as more like New Age, I guess, spirituality.
Yeah.
Some people would say woo woo, and I'm fine with that. But I know that I just thought it was such a cool project to talk about queerness in the context of like spirituality that I wanted to talk about it on the pod because I think it's really amazing what he's building.
Wonderful. Very
So
good.
yeah, that's it. And one other thing I want to mention is that at the same event, I met this girl who worked in fashion, and I was actually wearing this jacket.
Mhm.
And that's my favorite jacket.
Yeah.
I wore it at a show too. And she was like, "Oh my God, who made this?" And I was like, "Oh, well, felt good." Because I felt like it gave me a stamp of approval. And actually, it's a British designer who doesn't do jackets anymore. I think it transitioned to yacht wear. So basically, you can't find this jacket anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm feeling so hot today, Miyoko. Between my testosterone and my jacket,
Oh
I'm
my
feeling on top of
God.
the world today.
That's wonderful. We should all have days like that.
I agree. I agree. Well, Miyoko, well, as usual, it's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to our listeners for joining in.
Thank you.
We are happy to be back on the pod, and we'll see you all talk to you all in 2 weeks.
We appreciate
Uh,
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miyoko. Au revoir.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
See you next time. Aloha.